That was beautiful.
Yeah, sure was.
And I want you to just know that it just really brings back a lot of very fond memories of my first church district, where they were our worship leaders. And just to be here with you, how many years has it been? 20 years later.
Time flies.
And to have this as a time of refreshing is beautiful. Thank you. So the teacher in me has a special graphic here for our subject today on a little small correction to the small group image that we have in our Adventist psyche. To think outside the box, or to think in such a way that there is no box. It's as infinite as He is, the options of what you do in a small group. So when you give your heart and home to Jesus, you're dealing with infinite plenitude, and He will bless whoever meets in His name, however many meet in His name. And He will do the miracle working in your group. So we need to think like He does, outside of a box, or as if there were no box where you have to be fit into, all right? So to start with, I would like us to take in a very brief video clip. Do not blink. It's only 8 seconds, all right? Just it's very, very, very brief. I'm going to make sure my volume is up so that you are sure to hear this. Okay, here we go. That's it. So this guy comes up to a box, an Amazon box on someone's porch. He wants to steal it, but it's rigged with an explosive device that sprays powder all over him. It's a trick that people are playing on people who would come and steal their products. So the idea here, and the reason I want to show this, is you've come to this event to take something home. Now, you're not stealing anything, because not like this guy. But I want something to blow up in your face. Yeah. So that you this thing really needs to blow up in your face. All right. So I have to do this. This is my delight. Maybe not yours, but so when you think of small groups, small groups today are going by lots and lots of different names, right? And I really want us to think in terms of holistic small groups, but some people call them connect groups, home groups, life groups, huddle groups, grow groups, community groups, cell groups, support groups, Bible groups, missional small groups, service groups. All these groups are great ideas for small groups, but they all have something in common. They risk not being holistic. They all risk that. And in my research, it didn't matter what kind of group it was that you were doing, as long as it was holistic. That concept I have to have firmly in place in your mind. And the members are authentically connecting in 3 ways: with God, with each other in the group, and with the community. So when we're talking about holistic small groups, you can think in terms of a Bible study, or something like that. And that can be a holistic group. It can be. And it will be a huge blessing when you do that. But you may be thinking, yeah, well, that's not my interest. I'm not really, really well that qualified, but I'm good at changing oil in a car. And so you're like, so how can I do a holistic group that fosters a relationship with God, with the community, and with the others who are doing this thing with me? Right? So that becomes the task, and you get together with that group of people and you envision, how do we keep all 3 of those relationships fostered and growing? Right? So non-traditional groups. I want to share with you some of the non-traditional groups. This one was in St. Cloud, yeah. This was in St. Cloud. The ladies got together. They rented Crafts Direct. It's a craft store in our town. They rented it out at night. They get a free pizza out of it. They get to use the equipment on the floor of Crafts Direct to do scrapbooking. And they get, what's it, 25% off or something like that? A coupon like that for buying anything in the store. And this is all done after hours. And so they get together and they do scrapbooking. And so I was talking to the leader of the group and just saying, all right, so what are you doing to make it holistic? And I was still on that kick way back then. And so she was like, yeah, we just been doing scrapbooking, but like this person started talking about their family, saw the wedding pictures, and so we started asking about their son's wedding, and yeah, well, they're kind of going through problems right now, and so they, how women are when they get together, they share their life together. They're really good at this, and so they just started sharing what the scrapbooking was all about, and then gave them updates and things like that. And so the next month they did it. She said, I've been praying for your son and his marriage. That was it. That was the only upward link at that point. I was praying for your son. How are they doing? And just because she was praying for them, she got the update of how they were doing. Well, thanks for taking an interest. And that bonded their hearts together, right? And there was this vertical component, and then there's this... Well, I think ladies are really good at the bonding part. I think they just know how to do that. Yeah. And they're the experts. So, and then how to do the outward components is just keep inviting their friends who are interested in scrapbooking to take part in that. And because they were Christians leading it, the Christians had the vertical relationship, but it needed to be expressed in the group. So the next month, they brought a scripture that I was reading my Bible and I thought about your son and look, this could be really encouraging to your son and it's a really difficult situation he's in his marriage. You see how it works? It doesn't have to be a Bible study, but it needs the vertical component. And it's not difficult to add that component to whatever we do. So we're bringing our God into everyone's life to be a blessing who is part of our group. See how we need to get outside that box, right? And let it be expressed in the way that it can be expressed authentically through you and your interests. So I always love that about that scrapbooking group. Let me get the right town. Yes, this is in St. Paul. After my St. Cloud stint, I went to St. Paul, and there was one of my church members from the south part of the city was up in the north part of the city at my Cub Foods, where I do my grocery shopping. And so I said, "What are you doing at my Cub Foods?" And he said, "Pastor, this is our small group. So who's with you?" She started naming the people he was with. He had them all packed in his minivan. And these are people who are shut in. They're too old to drive, but they still need to shop and get food. So he goes and picks them up and takes them to my Cub Foods and takes them shopping. And so he said, "This is my small group." And I said, "Is it holistic?" What a stickler I am. And he said, "Pastor." I said, "No, I'm asking. I want to know, is it holistic? Do you have the outward reach going on? I mean, you're doing it for the people in your group, but have you invited somebody who's not a member of your group? Because I see there's room in your van for one more." What a stickler, right? What a stickler. But he understood there could be somebody else in the community with the same need that the people in our church had in our community. So could you just remain open to them? He said, "I'll do that, Pastor." And so, but a grocery shopping group, come on. Is it possible that it could be holistic? You bet. You bet it can. All right. And then there was the gardening group. I went through a training with my church members. And they said, "Can I do a gardening group?" I said, "Yeah." how could you make it holistic? So they understand what that means at this point because I've finished the training. And yeah, how can you make it holistic? Well, are there any like scriptures about gardening that I to share with you? Have you read the Bible lately? It's like everywhere. So yeah, absolutely, you can do that. What about the bonding? Do you think you can do things that foster your relationship with each other so that your hearts are bound together, not just your hands digging holes and filling it with plants, something like that. And so we began discussing how to do that, how to go about making that group holistic. It can be done. It can be done. Absolutely can be done. I knew in Minnesota there was a shooting range group. They would go to the shooting range and shoot their guns at targets at the shooting range, but they wanted to make it a holistic group. And so is that difficult to do? And when they put their mind to it, no, it wasn't difficult at all. We're going to talk about safety today. And this conversation about safety was very easy to move into the subject of salvation and being saved and things like that. Or how important it is if you want to reach your target that you take aim, right? So if your target is heaven, you might need to take aim, right? So it wasn't difficult to have just a moment, just a devotional thought before they went and shot bullets through these targets, and they made it a holistic thing. So this can be done for just about anything. Illegal drugs might be off the, okay. That's not a problem for an Adventist group. All right. And when I was in college, we had the anti-supper club. So, all right, this is a bit of a, what's that? Ooh, yeah, Model A. Back when he was 20. Sorry. So anti-supper club, I was in college and there were some girls who felt like they were overweight. And they weren't. They were beautiful people. I mean, maybe they had a couple extra pounds, but who cares, right? But they wanted to skip supper, but they lacked the willpower to follow through with their plan. So we developed the anti-supper club. It's actually how to pick up girls club, but we called it the anti-supper club, okay? And what we would do is and it actually grew to be like 15 or 20 people in this walking, praying. We had prayer together to pray for self-control and those kind of things to get the spiritual victory over appetite. But we also exercised instead of ate. And I was back then as thin as a rail, so I really should have eaten supper, but the girls are just too cute, so. And I talked to one of the members of that group recently, and she said, I remember that. Yeah, that was a holistic group. You did it way back in college days. Yeah. I've always been involved in holistic small groups, some by freak chance, and some by ulterior motive. And it was, you can do anything and make it holistic, right? The anti-supper club. So anyway, there's some of the things. Here's Prescott. We have 16 home-based Bible groups. So that was what we call a traditional group, where we're around the Bible or around a subject that we want to discuss and go deeper into. And there's prayer, and there's snacks, or something like what we think of a traditional small group, right? So we've got 16 of those now. That's today. It's an update. Our Sabbath school classes are done holistically. So there's all three components to our Sabbath school classes. We look for ways to be involved in our community, in addition to whether that's praying for them and being the source of power to reach people that we're connected to, or inviting them to our Sabbath school, or Sabbath school classes doing something for somebody else in our broader community. And we try to just tell them, just think holistically. Well, this catches on. once you start talking to them about holism for 8.5 years. So our board of elders is a holistic small group now. Our church board is a holistic small group now. We have 5 ministries, but don't tell them. They're actually small groups. And I want to tell you about them, though, because these are the non-traditional groups, okay? And this one, the lady on the left, I told her, yeah, your prayer shawl ministry is a holistic small group. No, it isn't. It's a ministry. She doesn't even know. Lois on the right, she knows because she's been involved in it longer, and I told her a long time ago, no, you actually have a holistic small group. But Sharon, she didn't know that. So don't confuse her. But they're doing it holistically. And what the prayer shawl ministry is about is that when somebody comes into a crisis in their life, any kind of a crisis, it could be going through a divorce or facing a serious illness or somebody's died, or they just need some really special prayer. These ladies and gentlemen, the team has actually got about 10 or 12 people in it. It is a small group. These people throughout the year knit prayer shawls. It's just like a shawl that you put over yourself when you need to be wrapped up in the loving prayer of somebody else for you. And these ladies and gentlemen knit these things, and as they're knitting it, they don't know who it's going to go to. It's not determined who it's going to go to until the need arises. But they're praying over it. They're praying that whoever receives this will come under the blessing of God and be wrapped up in his care in their time of crisis. It's powerful. It's such a powerful thing. These are knitters. Is that a spiritual gift? It is when you pray over your knitting. It's just really cool. So last year they did 34 shawls, 34 people who met crisis, and they sent them a shawl or delivered the shawl to them and read to them how that prayer shawl was prayed for. They didn't know who it was going to go to until your need showed up, and we wanted to deliver this with you and let you know we will be continue to pray for you until you are through this crisis. And since their inception, they've knitted 300 and delivered 388 shawls. People lifted through crisis, through the care and love of Jesus Christ through these people. You might not think of your school as a small group, but we do. And now it's a holistic small group. When I first came in 2017, there were 1.5 teachers. That's true. So 1.5 teachers. Yeah, we had a half a teacher. We had 8 grades with 13 students. You do the math? That's a small group, isn't it? The whole school was a small group. But when Jennifer became the principal, she added something that wasn't there before. And maybe because it was just her and the male principal, they couldn't have worship together on a daily basis with just one guy and one girl who aren't married together, right? So, but when she became principal, we had 2 female teachers and then 3 shortly after that. They began meeting daily for prayer for each other. Right, so the prayers, the vertical, for each other. They prayed through the things they were going through in their family, in their classrooms, and through the difficult student or the troubling parent or whatever the situation. They would pray through these things on a daily basis and ask God into their day. And then, of course, their outward reach is to the kids. I mean, these are kids that are not part of our church, and they are a handful. Sometimes they're 2 handfuls around their neck. Those who are teachers know how that can feel. You wouldn't touch them. Today, there are 10 teachers, 8 full-time, 2 part-time. There are actually 12 grades starting this next school year and 80 students. We are looking at an increase, yet another increase in these students. And I believe one of the most important things they did was they made their group holistic. So now the teachers are the small group, not the whole school, but it's an amazing turnaround. We were very selective with our teachers, right? We wanted them to align with our values, which meant they need to be comfortable teaching non-Adventist children because we have an outward reach in everything we do, right? And we involve the people from these non-Adventist families in the life of the school. We believe in them, they believe in us, and we work together. Oh, yeah, no, I just said it. This idea of working together on things. Yeah, I'll go ahead and skip through these slides here. This is our personal ministries team. They have a group of others around them that help them. And one of the things that they enjoy doing is handing out literature. So they go to these political rallies, and they get permission to do this ahead of time. They're passing out the great controversy under the title Freedom. I think it's Freedom, right? It has American flag and has freedom or something like that. Something like that. And they hand these out at these rallies with permission. Say, are you interested in freedom? Well, they're at a political rally, so yeah, you'll want this book because you probably are aware that our freedoms, our liberties are in jeopardy. Oh yeah, well this book tells you not only how we got into the mess, but how we get out of the mess. And they are handing these out, right? What's cool about their ministry is they'll get people coming back. I got this book yesterday. I wanted to come back and can you give me a case? Actually, I need 2. I want to give them to everybody in the legislative branch of government. And they've handed them, put them in the office of all of our country's the legislative branch. Both the Senate and the House, all their offices received a copy of it. Another person asked for a box to give to everyone she knows. One kid said, "Can I help, mister?" These are people who aren't Adventists, but they align with our values. They want to be a part of it. The kid was just listening. Dad, can I help them? Yeah, sure, if you want. Mister, can I help? Sure. And the kid just... And the people around us are seeing what we're doing and they're hearing what we're doing. They're saying, I want to be a part of that, which is really cool because it doesn't matter who hands the book out. It's just that the books need to go out, right? So yeah, we'll help. We'll take your help. And so these people handed out 70,000 books at political rallies since that was last year. Since their inception, it's more like 500,000 of that ministry. The Community Service Food Bank, this goofy group of people, I don't know if you can see that picture, but they're posing in a goofy way with all kinds of weird vegetables and fruits coming out of people's heads. But this is started out several years ago with 13 volunteers who were serving 40 families in our community every week. And now we have 25 volunteers. We're serving over 200 families a week. About 1,000 people being lifted out of food insecurity every week because these people, and they do it holistically. They have, before they distribute the food, they are praying over each other's situations. They're praying for the distribution of the food. They're praying with their connections with the people in the community that God would bless them and help them, not just with the food that they're distributing, but in all respects. And when people come into that room to receive food, they're like, this place is different. Everyone here is like really happy to see us. And they like the fact that we have this opportunity to connect, not just with food, but with people, right? With people with people. And we stand in solidarity with them. We help them in a variety of different ways. Some of these people come and they get boxes and boxes, and they're helping us distribute it to other people and things like that. We're getting their help. Most of the people on this team, about half, maybe 60% of the people in this team, are not members of our church. They just align with our values and they want to be involved. We do Arizona Sunshine. I may have mentioned that somewhere along the way, where we're offering free dental, vision, medical, hearing, and other therapeutic care to the public for free. So they don't pay anything for it. Our organization raises money for it. And we do this every year at our church. And then other places in the Arizona conference. We've done some in other conferences as well, and one time overseas. And the idea here is we have people in our community that are underserved they can't afford these things. They can't afford glasses. They can't afford a doctor's visit. They can't afford hearing aids. And we are there to raise money so that those things happen, or dentures or whatever. And we see that they happen and are provided to them free of charge. The county health has gotten on board with us, and now they're offering their free services through our program. We have people who will come up afterwards and say, "Thank you so much. I had this infection in my head, and I thought I was going to die, and it's gone today. Thank you. Is there any way I can get involved?" When you connect with somebody to that level, you know you've touched a life, right? It's really cool when we distribute their glasses. They have to come back and get their glasses after we've measured their prescription. And they come back about a month later or something like that with the glasses. And they try them on. They're like, just like that. Their face just lights up. And whoa, I can see, there's leaves on that tree. Right? Yeah, they've always been there. But they couldn't see them. It's just a blur. Right? That the gift of seeing again. And then we have a piece of literature to put in their hands. Now that you can see, would you like to read something? What motivates us to do what we do? It's all in here. We'll give out as Steps to Christ or something like that. We want them to be blessed wholly, physically, mentally, spiritually, and so on. Give them a new shot at life. The denturist was the funnest, I think, because the people will look at their face for the first time in their life with teeth in their mouth. And others just break down and cry. You just need to care about people, whatever it is you do, whether it's a small thing or a big thing. Now, you might not call this a small group. You might not call this a small group, but there's like 300 and so people that are volunteering for this. So it kind of stretches at the word small, but we have an impact on people's lives, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people every year. We give out somewhere in the neighborhood of $400,000 of services every year, free of charge, back into our community. So we are known in our community as caring people that really just want people to be well. They matter to us. And we get volunteers for Arizona Sunshine all along. I don't remember why I put this slide in there. Sorry. But through these non-traditional approaches, our average score in our natural church development profile, 49, we addressed our deficiency in loving relationships by doing holistic small groups or holistic ministries. And we just feel very strongly that everything should be three-dimensional there in those three relationships in everything we do. And those relationships should be two-directional. Us blessing them, them blessing us, right? And these are really important concepts. When we do this, we just start to shine in our community. It starts small, but it starts to gain a momentum, and we're recognized now in our community for being caring people. People just matter to us. And what happens to our church life, that everything gets impacted when we do this one change. Everything improves. And that's why Christian Schwartz, who designed this program, it's a way of looking at church health. That's why he says holistic small groups are the most important, right? With that blessing, when you open up your heart and your home to the Holy Spirit, a massive amount of blessings start pouring into your life, the people in the group, and then through the group to others. And it could take on any form. We need to blow up the idea that small groups equals Bible study. It's okay to have a Bible study. Don't get me wrong. Those are my favorite. But when we think in terms of holism, that's when things start happening, not Bible study necessarily, not just that. Okay, so just want to leave this with you, and I want you to transition now away from a presentation to a planning session. Okay, and for this planning session, I think it would be a really good idea to be around a table of people from the same church where you go to church. So think of yourself as a organizing group for small groups, and you're going to need to have a conversation together. All right? So if you could do that right now, just kind of be at a table where there's people from your church. I'm going to put you into an exercise together. That's a great question. I don't have an answer for you. So one question is to ask this just of everybody. Now that you have been introduced to the concept of holistic small groups, how do you envision yourself getting involved? And I have several options up here. I think I'll just go to a small group. I'm just going to participate in a small group with the appreciation this is holistic. All right, that's the level of my commitment. So if that's the case, I just want you to write that down. That's your commitment. I will be a participant. If you're willing to open up your home or open up an extra building on your property so a small group can meet in your space, then put that you are willing to be involved as a small group host. All right? Maybe you don't feel comfortable yet to lead the group, but I'd be willing to house it. Is that a biblical thing? Yeah, remember we went through the book of Acts and the things they did. They used their homes to house the ministry of the church. So maybe you're willing to host a group. Small group assistant, oh boy, me and my spelling. Small group assistant leader, right? Remember when you took that leadership readiness and you're like, okay, my score is between 4 and 7 or something like that, not an 8 and a 10. I'm not quite ready for the leadership thing, but I'd be willing to assist. I want to be a leader, but I need to learn more. You recognize that your score needs to improve a little bit, but you're willing to do that. Just put, I'm willing to be an assistant leader. Or, I think I'm ready to be a leader of a small group. Just mark that. Just indicate that. I want you to write this down because I'm going to turn this in to Pastor Joel so that we need an organizing person, and there may not be that person beside you in the church. Okay, raise your hand. You are in charge of small group ministries in your church. Okay, Pastor, that's you. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So then, if you are in that position where you want to be the next small group leader trainer next year for the Leadership Training Summit, mark that. You're going to be called upon. All right. That might be you, that might not be you. So there's different ways to be involved in small group ministry. Your leader, when you go through this book, your leaders will find things for you to do to be involved. If the leader does all the doing, they will get burned out. I once was doing training with 4 groups at the same time, 4 groups of 10 people in each group, and I was going through this leadership training, and I had a sign-up sheet. I had passed it around. I want you to put your name on this sign-up sheet. Had every responsibility in every day that we were going to meet for the next 9 weeks is what it was at that time. And I passed it around. It always come back with lots of blanks on it. I said, all right, you want your pastor to burn out and stop doing this? No. Put your name on the sign-up sheet. And I passed it around a second time, and it came back with 3 blanks. I can do 3 things over the course of 9 weeks. But I can't do 50 things. So that's how I do it. We're not going to do anything until your name is on there. Sign up for something you would feel comfortable doing. Get your name on there. And so they all got filled up. Usually all of them got filled up. All right, so the small group, which one of these, and please spell assistant better than I did. Sorry about that. But how do you envision yourself being involved? And so I would like you to have that conversation around your table. Where do you see yourself, in what role of getting involved? Just have that conversation around your table real quick. you got to feel around your table about different roles people are willing to play, right? Those, if you, some maybe you just want to be a participant, you need those people in your group. Because now they understand why we're doing it this way and not another way. And they'll be easy. They won't be dragging their heels. You'll be able to just pull them in easily into participation, not just an attendee, but a participant. They might bring the snacks. They might provide the music. So Pam, I would expect you to come to my group with food. Right? Etc. Right? You just know what these people are really good at, what they're passionate about. They may not be willing to be the host or the leader, but they can participate in some way where it's their gift. And when we are always functioning in our gift, the blessing is so much greater than if we're asked to do something that we're not good at. Right? You know some people who try to cook, but it's like, right? It's like, don't ask them to bring the snacks. Yeah, nothing personal. We just like to live through the experience. And but some people have the gift. It's nothing for them to provide a snack because they're good at it. It's not complicated to them, and it's always delicious. And when our groups are functioning at that level, in the areas of our giftedness, the product, the blessing is always greater to those who are who are attending the group. Second question then would be, what kind of a group are you thinking about? So what I mean by that is, that's not it, this one. Are you going to have geographically specific groups? I recommend that. You wouldn't want to drive your 3 hours every time you have a small group, right? So it's geographically specific. Is your church spread out? Like your church members are like far from the church. Oh, yeah. So by doing a geographically specific group where you live, you have brought the church to a new neighborhood, right? If you live more than 20 minutes from your church, it's very difficult to get somebody new to come to your church because that's far. Maybe not in Montana terms, but let's say a half hour, whatever that number is, 45 minutes. You're not going to get them to go 45 minutes to go to a church where they don't know anybody. But they might travel 5-10 minutes to get to your home. They know you, and they get to know others. And if some of those others are part of your church, they will know people in the church already. Then that 45-minute drive doesn't seem like such a big deal because they go there. These are my buds. This is my pack. I like these people. I want to be with them on Saturday. They will come to your church after they know you. But until they know you, we need to bring the church to them. That's kind of what small groups does in a rural setting. Now, that might be different here in Great Falls, and that's okay. But geographically specific groups make sense in rural areas. Is yours going to be a study group? So the primary thing you're going to do is study the Bible or a book about the Bible or something like that, a study group. Is it an interest group or hobby group like I mentioned in the examples that I gave you? These are people who knit or people who do scrapbooking or people who like to shoot at the shooting range or whatever. They have these interests. Can you get a group of people around your interest? So what kind of a group are you going to be doing? The type of the group you wish to participate in. That's going to be different for different people. And it may be that you want to do, you really want these people in your group, so we'll do a study group for a while, then we'll do something else. Or we'll form 2 groups or whatever. Talk about that around your circle. Is it going to be a social group primarily? I'm talking about primarily a social group or a ministry group where you're in service to something in the community. A support group, like for grief or anxiety or depression, substance abuse support group or whatever. There's lots and lots of different groups or other, right? Always keep that box open. I would like you to discuss that next, those kind of the type of group that you envision doing, all right, at your table. If you could do that.
We are already all a part of a group.
You're all part of a group.
Not the same ones, but we are all
You're already involved in small groups. Yeah.
Social group, grief, prayer group, Bible study, men's group, Sabbath school.
Did you think of wanting to do anything different than what you're already currently in throughout the course of this weekend? Maybe tweak it a little bit, or do something completely different. You thought, oh, I can think outside the box. Oh, okay, and then you got a new idea.
Good.
That's what we're talking about here. All right. So, and you can talk about the thing that you're passionate about. And maybe you think something you're already doing, and that's fine, not a problem.
All right.
And if you already know, then you already know.
And it's always supposed to be kind of growing.
To me, what I've learned.
Well, it will grow. God will cause it to grow.
So every group probably can grow.
One would think.
Especially if they put it in.
And intentionally plan on how to make it grow. Yeah, that intentionality really has big payoff. add the concept of holism to what it is you're doing? How can you do that holistically and brainstorm with each other? Oh, what about this? What about that? And just help each other to make it more three-dimensional if it needs to be tweaked. And maybe it's already there. Praise God for that. Yeah. want to use your phone and scan that QR code, it'll take you right to the page where you can order these books. If you need to order more books, there is an opportunity between now and the end of the tax season, April 15th. Well, how many days is that? 4 days. Where I made a vow to the Lord, all the books that I sell, all the proceeds will go to fund our new school building project. I told you how our school is growing very rapidly. We outgrew the 2 classrooms. We had kids in just about every closet of the church trying to teach them. And so we needed more space for them. And so all the proceeds from this are going to that. So I want you to just know about that. So it's not going to change the price. It'll be the same price after April 15th as it is before. But I need to start earning some money on these books to pay the taxes because I have to pay the taxes on all of it as if it were income, even though I'm donating it all. But so yeah, if you never need new books, just scan that QR code there, okay? And it'll take you right to the page. It's really simple. Did you try it? Should work. Yeah. So, and it has both the red and the purple books. You understand the difference now, right? Okay. Huh? Oh, okay. All right, I'm going anywhere. So yeah, we should probably close off the Sabbath with a prayer of did I do that too soon? Sorry, I'm really good for that. There it is. You don't have it on the screen. Okay. So anyway, we should probably close with a prayer. So I would like to offer that prayer if I might, so that God would bless. So, Heavenly Father, I would just like to say thank you that I could have this wonderful privilege to meet this exceptional church. And I know that you have great plans for them to do a wondrous thing through them. And I'm glad that they have you as a partner. And nothing will be impossible for them. Not this, not anything. The devil might get really upset about what's going on around here. I just pray you'll hold us together. Keep us together. Keep us strong together. And not think of others as our enemy, but our enemy is our enemy. And to think of others as in a situation very similar to our own. Far from God, but wanting to be closer. And I just pray that you would lead us there. And that as we follow your lead, we'd also be able to leave a path for others to follow. They might end up where we want to end up. Put us into contact with these people. Send them our way. Send us their way. And help us, Lord, to connect in all these different things we discussed around the tables this evening. With your blessing, it's going to go places. We're just really grateful. We want to open our heart and our home to be used by you in any way that you envision for us. May your will be done on earth. May your longing to see the blessing of Abraham, the blessing of Jesus Christ reach every home. May we be a part of that. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.